The old servants of the house suspected him to have been the son of the Baron's sister by a very good sort of gentleman of the neighborhood, whom that young lady refused to marry, because he could produce no more than 71 quarterings. Now, that's a genealogical division on a coat of arms indicating a degree of nobility. And he only had 71 of them in his arms, the rest of the genealogical tree belonging to the family having been lost through the injuries of time. The Baron was one of the most powerful lords in Westphalia, for his castle had not only a gate, but even windows. It even had windows, ladies and gentlemen. And his great hall was hung with tapestry. He used to hunt with his mastiffs and spaniels instead of greyhounds. His groom served him for huntsman, and the parson of the parish officiated as his grand almoner. He was called my lord by all his people, and everyone laughed at his stories. My Lady Baroness weighed 350 pounds, and consequently was a person of no small consideration. And she did the honors of the house with a dignity that commanded universal respect. Her daughter, Cunegande, let's do Cunegande, shall we? I'm going to try to stay on that pronunciation. C-U-N-E-G-O-N-D-E, with a little mark over top of the E, which I think means to put stress on that syllable, unless I don't know. That's what I know from learning Russian. That's how they, whichever one's got a little mark on it, put stress there. So, Cunegande, 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 Cunegande. Fine, let's go. Her daughter, Cunegande, was about 17 years of age, fresh-collared, comely, plump, and amiable. The Baron's son seemed to be a youth in every respect worthy of his father. Now it mentions Pangloss, the tutor. Pangloss is Greek meaning all tongue, or all speech. And so it's a Greek term. So the tutor's name is Pangloss, and if we didn't know that it was a Greek, we might just be like, that's a weird name, Pangloss, okay. But the tutor is named all tongue, all knowledge, all language, all speech. Okay, the tutor was the oracle of the family, and little Candide listened to his instruction with all the simplicity natural to his age and disposition. Okay, so that means that Candide was listening in a sort of naive way, and we're going to see what Pangloss tells him, and naive little Candide is going to supposedly, as it's just characterized him, he will probably accept some incorrect formulation by Pangloss, Mr. Alltongues. Master Pangloss taught the cosmology, there we go. Just one more time in case you want to Wikipedia the subject. Metaphysico-theologico-cosmologology. Okay? Now, cosmolo indicates cosmology, a term invented, this is a footnote by the way. Cosmolo indicates cosmology, a term invented by Christian Wolff, disciple of Leibniz. N-I-G-O, Nigo, calls to mind nincompoop in French. So, cosmologology. Okay, cosmologology. So, Leibniz's ideas plus nincompoop-ism. So Leibniz idiotism. That is what Pangloss taught. Metaphysico-theologio Leibniz idiotism. Okay, there we go. What do you know about Leibniz? We're about to learn Voltaire's opinion. Sort of, I mean through the characterization given through Pangloss. So Mr. Pangloss taught this thing. He could prove admirably that there is no effect without a cause. And in this best of all possible worlds, the Baron's castle was the most magnificent of all castles, and my lady the best of all possible baronesses. Pangloss could prove all that. Quote, Pangloss speaking now. "It is demonstrable," said he. Is that a good French? No, I can't do French. "It is demonstrable," said he, "that things cannot be otherwise than they are. For as all things have been created for some end, they must necessarily be created for the best end." Pangloss was French, but I can do British, bad British, but I can't do French. So he's going to be an expatriate Brit, or he had a British tutor when he was a kid or something happened. So all things have been created for some end, therefore they had to be created for the best end. It's obvious, isn't it? Observe, for instance, the nose is formed for spectacles, therefore we wear spectacles. The legs are visibly designed for stockings, accordingly we wear stockings. Stones were made to be hewn and to construct castles. Therefore my lord has a magnificent castle. For the greatest baron in the province ought to be the best lodged. Swine are intended to be eaten, therefore we eat pork all year round. And they who assert that everything is right do not express themselves correctly. They should say that everything is best. Now there are some people that say, don't worry about it, everything in the world's just right. It's how God wants it. He wants disasters. He wants this. He wants that. Well, Leibniz goes a step further. It's the best possible. There wouldn't be another better way to do it. You can't question it. This is the best possible. It couldn't be better than this. This is wonderful. Candide listened attentively and believed implicitly, for he thought Miss Cunegonde excessively handsome, though he never had the courage to tell her so. He concluded that after the happiness of being Baron of Thunder-ten-Tronckh, the next was that of being Miss Cunegonde, the next that of seeing her every day. So the best thing is to be the Baroness, the next thing is to be Miss Cunegonde herself, and the next is to be able to see Miss Cunegonde every day, and then the last, that of hearing the doctrine of Master Pangloss, the greatest philosopher of the whole province, and consequently of the whole world, because they're in the greatest province. So those are the four good things in life, or those are the four best things that would be to be in the world. To be the Baroness, number one, to be Miss Cunegonde, number two, to see Miss Cunegonde. He's quite fond of her, isn't he? It's number three, best possible thing in the universe. The number four best possible thing in the universe is to be able to listen to Pangloss. Okay, continuing. One day when Miss Cunegonde went to take a walk in the little neighboring woods, which was called a park, she saw through the bushes the sage Dr. Pangloss giving a lecture in experimental philosophy. What's that, right? To her mother's chambermaid, a little brown wench, very pretty and very tractable. As Miss Cunegonde had a natural disposition towards the sciences, she observed with the utmost attention the experiments which were repeated before her eyes. She perfectly well understood the force of the doctor's reasoning upon causes and effects. She returned home greatly flurried, quite pensive, and filled with the desire for knowledge, imagining that she might be a sufficing reason for young Candide, and he for her. She might be a sufficing reason for young Candide. I don't know how they're using the term reason there, but she might be a sufficing mate or something, On her way back, she happened to meet Candide. She blushed. He blushed also. Ooh. She wished him a good morning in a flattering tone. He returned the salute without knowing what he said. As young love would have it. He didn't even know what he said, but he returned the why, where's his brain gone? The next day, as they were rising from the dinner table, Cunegonde and Candide slipped behind a screen. Miss dropped her handkerchief. The young man picked it up. She innocently took hold of his hand, and he as innocently kissed hers with a warmth, a sensibility, a grace, all very particular. Their lips met, their eyes sparkled, their knees trembled, their hands strayed. The Baron chanced to come by. Oh, God. He took note of the cause and effect,